Move off this carpet. Can't really roll into frame. I think it's pretty obvious that I love superheroes. It's one of, if not my all-time favorite forms of fiction. I truly believe that 1,000 or so years from now, people will still be talking about characters like Batman and Superman, much in the same way that we talk about characters like Hercules and Zeus.
I'm an action figure!
I'm afraid being famous isn't the same as being a true hero.
These heroes and their stories, they touch on timeless themes and have formed our modern-day mythology. However, there is a bit of a problem with how we depict our lady superheroes. And that's what I wanted to discuss today, by focusing on the biggest name in the female superhero division, Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman, Wonder Woman. All the world is waiting for you.
If you've been paying attention, you probably know the issues that I'm talking about. We have plenty of examples of women-led superhero tales crashing and burning, especially in the past few years. The Marvels was a legendarily bad flop for the MCU, Black Widow was lackluster at best, you've got Echo, which just feels like it's been completely forgotten about, Agatha all along seems like it's just repeating Disney's prior mistakes, and let's not even mention how bad She-Hulk was. Wonder Woman 1984 was a loss. I mean, even outside of superhero-specific shows and into more general nerd culture, Indiana Jones' female replacement movie didn't go too well. Rey remains divisive among Star Wars fans, and The Acolyte was such a flop that I think it will go down in history for how terrible it was. This is why I want to talk about this issue. I love all these franchises and I want them to thrive, but they are completely failing every time they touch a female character. Yet, there is hope. One brief moment of sunshine cutting through the miasma of mediocrity. Its name is Wonder Woman. 2017. I'll probably mention other Wonder Woman adaptations over the course of this video and pull footage from some of them, but this is the main one I want to use. Grossing over 800 million worldwide with a Rotten Tomatoes score of 93% among critics and 83% among audiences, it's clear that this is an aberration in the usual norm for lady superhero films. It's actually good and well received by both the fans and the critics.
Well done, Wonder Woman. You are the winner.
Using this film, here's my rough roadmap on how to address the woman superhero problem. Part 1, make her a woman.
Athena knows the League could use more female members. Agreed.
Hear, hear.
This whole business, in my opinion, really comes down to two things. If you can do these two things, you'll have a good story. You need to write a good hero character, and you need to write a good woman character.
I think we'll finish early.
Hardly worth the effort of getting together.
Believe it or not, men and women are two different things. I shouldn't have to say that, but that's the world we live in.
What is a woman?
I'll go into this in more specific detail as we go on, because I feel like these two things intertwine. But the first step to having a good woman hero is to write a good woman character.
Like what?
I think you'll like it.
When I first watched Wonder Woman in a mostly empty theater because it was a Tuesday afternoon in June, the scene that made me fall in love with Gal Gadot's Diana was partway into the film. For context, this is Wonder Woman's first foray into the world of man. You're seeing many things for the first time. Then, in a big crowd of people, she does this.
Oh, baby.
No, baby.
I love this scene. Just playing the clip right now makes my heart kind of pump with a bit more joy, you know? Why? Because in this scene, Diana is being a woman. She reacts precisely how a woman would react to suddenly seeing a baby. I have, multiple times in my life, probably owing to my membership with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, been in a room with a large number of girls, and someone brings in a baby.
Oh, here he comes. Oh, no!
In seconds, like a bunch of beautiful, nurturing vultures, the girls will descend upon that baby, regardless of age, regardless of race, regardless of socioeconomic background, drop a baby into a pack of women. They react just like Wonder Woman did. Which is a great thing, which is a good thing. It's so great to see that, and in fiction, it instantly humanized Diana. I was maybe at a 5 the whole time. I was excited, I liked what I'd seen so far, but that's what sold it for me. A 10-second clip, and I was completely sold on the character. That's all it took.
Oh, it's 2 out of 3. We're in the black.
I'll touch on why that hits so hard in a second, but it ultimately comes down to the fact that Diana is a woman. So lean into the feminine. Lean into the things that make women women. That's what you need to do if you want your female character to have that timeless appeal. They need to be women. Part 2, make her a hero. As I stated at the top, I love heroes. All my favorite stories, even the ones that aren't about superheroes, are stories about heroes. A heroic character fighting and triumphing over evil.
I'm a murdering psychopath. It's part of my charm.
The question is, why do I like these stories, and why do they resonate with so many other people? I mean, it clearly goes beyond the colorful costumes and the wang, boom, bizzity bop. Nothing that is based on purely that level of flash without any substance can last as long as superheroes have. Superman was first written 86 years ago, so what's the deal?
What's the deal with airplane food? Billy!
The simple answer is that heroes are aspirational. You watch a superhero show or you read a comic or any piece of media, there is part of you that wishes to be that hero, or that should at least want to be that hero. Some of that is the fantasy of being more powerful than you currently are, but I think it goes even deeper than that. A hero is always presented as a good person. They can be incredibly flawed, even be a terribly broken person, but they're usually a very good person. When someone is imagining a superhero and imagining themselves being a superhero, they're imagining someone who is good and is fighting against evil. And there are many different ways to fight against the many different myriad types of evil in this world. Which is partially why we have such a varied cast of characters throughout the entire lexicon of superhero characters. I don't want to get off into the weeds too much here. I have this whole theory on heroism and mankind's relation to Christ, but that's a story for a different video and on a different day. The point that I'm trying to make is that a hero is supposed to represent an ideal that is worth striving for. Superman's indomitable hope, Batman's relentless quest for justice. These are things that cause them to fight against evil. This is exemplified in the fact that when it comes to male heroes, they're depicted as the kind of man that other men want to be. The most obvious examples being the surface level details of the character. Batman and Superman are obviously extremely handsome and muscular, both routinely enjoy the company of beautiful women. Batman has obscene loads of cash.
It is not a question of money.
You see, I'm buying this hotel.
Any man watching these characters would want at least parts of their lives. Which means that when these heroes are putting everything on the line to save the day, to exemplify those types of ideals they stand for, the viewer, who wants to be these men, has that heroism added to their other desires.
The words I needed to hear.
Young man, you too can become a hero.
The same should be the case for Wonder Woman and all lady superheroes. She should be someone that a girl would want to be, and should exemplify an ideal for women, and some men too, to strive for. There are tons of different ways this can be done. Obviously, there's no one-size-fits-all story. No one wants there to be only one story. They want there to be a story that's so good, they keep coming back for more. That's what we're aiming for. This, of course, begs the question, how do we combine the two? How do we write a woman who is also heroic? Here are a few points that I feel are worth hitting. Part 3, bring them together. This is obviously the biggest one, so I'm going to have to break this up in some more detailed pieces. But the goal here is, of course, to bring the woman and bring the hero together into one.
I fusion summon!
This is difficult, since they are somewhat paradoxical in nature. Not that women can't show heroism, but if we're speaking historically and traditionally, it is usually in a much different way. Men are traditionally the fighters and protectors, women are the nurturers and the comforters. This, however, is not an insurmountable barrier. We all accept that at times fighting is necessary, so a good female superhero story needs to express why it is so necessary for a woman to do the traditional male job. Wonder Woman does this by providing a very clear villain, Ares, that only Diana can handle.
It is Ares who has these Germans fighting. And stopping the god of war is our foreordinance. As Amazons, this is our duty.
The movie also shows how evil, in general, is so bad that it is necessary for a woman to get involved. This is World War I, the second greatest armed conflict in human history. It might be time for some unconventional tactics.
Well, if it works.
The Wonder Woman movie also avoids one of the worst mistakes you can make, disparaging the men. It's such a trope these days for female heroes to talk down to the men, show them up in some way, make it how they're a girl. You don't want to do that. And Wonder Woman largely avoids the pitfall, pretty expertly in my opinion. For instance, there's this bar scene where she first meets the crew. She has some cultural differences with the crew and clearly doesn't necessarily like them, but what she does do is recognize that Steve has a plan to help them accomplish their goals and help her with her greater goal. Later, she doesn't go for the obvious I am no man during the no man's land fight scene.
This is no man's land, Diana. It means no man can cross it, all right? This battalion has been here for nearly a year, and they barely gained an inch.
And talks about how helping people is what she is going to do.
This is not what we came here to do.
No, but it's what I'm going to do.
That's great. Doesn't put down the men, doesn't put herself on a pedestal, but paints her as a hero who is going to do what is necessary to stand up to evil. So here are a few subsections that we can add to the goal of the feminine and the hero coming together. Subsection A, beauty. This is going to seem a little obvious to some, but the first step is the physical. Wonder Woman has been around since 1941 and has always been an exceedingly beautiful woman. The 2017 continues this with Gal Gadot as our leading lady. I probably disagree with Gal on almost everything, but there is no doubt that she is an exceedingly beautiful woman. And the effect of her in costume as the Princess of Themyscira, it's stunning. I am humble enough to admit that.
Yeah, really, Specs? Suddenly she's not the most beautiful woman you've ever seen.
I know the obvious criticism I'm going to get for making the argument that heroines should be beautiful.
Oh, you're gonna regret saying that.
Yes, I am a straight male. I enjoy looking at beautiful women. So does everyone. I think that's part of human nature pretty much. That is why a beautiful woman as our heroine can help make it memorable. That also doesn't feel like it should be controversial, but here we are.
Is that supposed to scare me?
It plays back into the aspirational nature of our hero stories. Just like how Superman and Batman are handsome men, Wonder Woman should be a beautiful woman. Heroes are supposed to be people that we want to be. And call it shallow, no one wants to be ugly.
God, you look like a house fire was in another house fire.
Plus, it's good for you and me to see physical beauty. We shouldn't allow ourselves to be dominated by our desire for it that leads to vanity or lust, but beauty is something that's good for everyone to see, because it reminds us of good things. If it makes you feel any better, beauty can take a lot of different forms. But beauty should be a goal. Subsection B, the ideal feminine. If it was obvious to you that our lady heroes should be beautiful, it should also be obvious to you that they should be more than just beautiful. This is the part where the stories, on the whole, have the most room for experimentation, as you try to craft something unique and interesting that people want to be a part of. If the point of a male superhero is to be an ideal that we want men to strive for, then the point of a heroine is to be an ideal that we want women to strive for. Since our focus is Wonder Woman, I'll be using her as an example, but again, a hero story can take a lot of different avenues.
Joker, where are we?
Quick, what are the two sweetest words in the English language?
Destroy Superman.
Also again, a hero story is all about the ideal the hero is supposed to be living up to, taking to heart. Sometimes the hero needs to learn this ideal. Sometimes they start the story as a paragon of that ideal. But regardless of the path they take, they need to embody something. Superman for hope. Batman has justice. Getting out of DC, you have Captain America, who represents the ideal American. And you have Iron Man, who represents the ideal of a broken and sinful man trying to redeem himself. With that ideal in mind, Wonder Woman, in my humblest opinion, should be a paragon of the ideal of truth. She is, after all, wielding a weapon known as the lasso of truth. Truth can be both brutal in destroying evil, difficult to confront, yet it can be comforting when you finally embrace it. Since we're also trying to make sure that Wonder Woman is a woman, she should be embracing that comforting aspect of truth. Comforting and nurturing are feminine ideals.
Do women like seeing women characters beating people up on screen? Is that why you go to the movies?
This is something that the Wonder Woman movie touched on, though in my opinion it didn't go as far as it could have.
Oh, baby, you're close. So close, but no cigar.
Wonder Woman's primary goal is the destruction of Ares, because she thinks that Ares is the only reason men war and fight. The truth that Steve Trevor knows is that Ares was not the primary reason.
They can stop fighting now. Why are they still fighting?
That's because maybe it's them. Maybe people aren't always good.
He might have nudged us here and there, but he did nothing that we have not done ourselves. It is at the end of the movie that Wonder Woman learns this truth, that men are not angels who are being tricked, but we are fallen beings who are prone to anger, hatred, and violence, even wanton violence. It is Steve Trevor who then has to explain another truth to Wonder Woman. Men can be greater than what we are now, and what we are by our natures.
They're everything you say, but so much more.
Where I feel the film doesn't go far enough is that it fails to explain how we can get men there. It is only through embracing the objective truth of our world that we can begin to be more than we are, and requires a nurturing hand for us to do that. I feel like Wonder Woman should embody that nurturing hand of truth.
And now I know that only love can truly save the world.
In order to nurture humanity towards truth and goodness, we need good women. Good women can be like Wonder Woman if they strive to be someone like Wonder Woman who is not afraid to bring the truth to us, even if we don't want to hear it, and someone who is compassionate in helping us learn and understanding that truth, ultimately taking it to heart. One of the most genius things I've ever heard about the relationship between men and women was said by Dennis Prager.
Men want to be admired by the woman they love. Women want to admire the man they love.
I've seen it play out in my own life, and we see this play out in Wonder Woman. Diana's goal the entire movie is to rid the world of Ares because she believes the world of men is respectable, is admirable.
Zeus created men to be just and wise, strong and passionate.
That was a story, Diana.
She actively wants to admire them, and she seeks to move what she sees is the roadblock to that admiration. That's part of what makes her such a great woman hero. Her heroism comes naturally from her womanhood, not in a vain and self-serving feminist ode to the vague powers of women, but of a sense of love and respect for men in general, and one man, Steve Trevor, in the specific.
I wish we had more time.
What are you saying?
I love you.
I'll wrap this up by restating what I said on the top. I love superheroes. And I love Wonder Woman. I once read 50 issues of the DC Rebirth Wonder Woman on a long car ride. Everything I've said here comes from a state of wanting the characters and franchises I care about to be as great as they can. I want these stories and characters to be loved for generations to come. I don't want them to fizzle out and die off. So allow me to finish this video by summing up everything I've been saying here. To make a good woman superhero, you need to write a good hero and a good woman. Thanks for watching. Oh man, I was gonna put this over here. Feels it was gonna be a fun nod to the last video I did like 6 months ago. Well, I'll put this at the end. Crap. Good thing this floor's carpeted.